Very short notice. But you're right. You got me. This is on you. Welcome to playgameground.com. This is a website I found about 3 or so years ago. Not entirely certain the exact time I found it. All I remember when I found it is that I was asking myself, what the hell am I looking at? You'll find out as we go through the website, and as you can probably tell by the length of the video, we're going to be reviewing every page. Before we begin, I'd like to state that I am ridiculously qualified for this project. For starters, I have a degree in computer science, and my job every day requires me to build websites. Shockingly, not as much HTML as I'd like, but whatever you can do. And also because I'm the Game Ground expert, I will know what on here is functional and not functional. But trust me when I tell you that it's not going to be anything too impressive. But maybe we'll get some good kicks out of it because of how bad it is, At the end, we're going to review the site. Just as an overview, this site claims to be a site in which you can play Game Ground online. I presume that means with other people, but who knows? Probably not. Probably. Copyright and all that. But we're just here to get a good sense of the site, see all the content it has to offer, no matter how long it takes, and see if I can pump this out within 24 hours, because happy April Fools. This is the perfect April Fool's bit. I've been meaning to do this for a while. Not necessarily as an April Fool's bit, but I mean, just in general. So yeah, expect no editing, because this is just going to be us having a moment. Alright. We start here on the home page. This is what you go when you go to playgameground.com. Let's see here. Play Game Ground online. Game Ground is a classic arcade game developed by Sega that offers an exciting retro gaming experience. Originally released in 1988, Game Ground quickly gained popularity amongst gamers for its unique gameplay mechanics and challenging levels. Okay, that's pretty accurate. Game Ground was released in 1988 in the arcades in Japan. I believe it took till 1989 to get to America, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, let's see. Let's start the game. Seems pretty good. Classic emulator style. Don't know the exact name of this emulator, but I see it all the time where it's got the buttons down here. Screen recording, pause, restart, save state, load state, cheats, and control settings. The audio's a bit funky, but let's just see control settings. Pressing control settings has made the controls option disappear entirely. Okay, let's see if I can guess the controls. Does it use my number pad? Nope. This is my letters. I am mashing. Oh, I've mashed something. Now I'm on to find. Okay, nope. None of those buttons. It's none of the letters. It's none of the numbers. It's not enter. Oh, wait. Enter is the start button. Oh, it uses the arrow keys, but unfortunately, because of the way the website was programmed, that also shifts my scrolling. Let's see if I can... Okay, I've clicked into the window. Okay, I'm going to see if I can find... ACPC? Let's exit out of here. Let's try actually typing the letters A, C, B, C. I did it wrong. A, C, B, C. Okay, S is A, X is B, Z is C. That is funky. Let's prove that it at least functions and beat the game. The audio does not like us. Let's do it Zaymon style. Ah, crap. Well, okay. I'm a little rusty. Mistimed my things. It's okay, honey. You can get him. I can enter a name, and we can go through the credits. I can't fast forward the credits, unfortunately. Let's refresh the page. Let's see how this two-player functionality works out. Because supposedly, I think if I remember correctly, this is supposed to be two-player compatible. Shaders, sprite limit, CPU, sound, left-hand mode, save slot. Alright, let's... I have no clue what buttons control two-player, so it must be under these controller options. But the problem is, I don't know how to access the controller settings because the function is doo-doo. And unfortunately, my recording software is blocking the view of the controls. So, yeah. It's functional if you don't mind not being able to change your buttons or save state properly or do anything properly or listen to the music properly. I'll give it a generous 2 out of 5. Maybe 2.5, because at least you can play the game. I'm pretty sure at some point I checked this website and you couldn't even do that, so it's an improvement. This is probably going to be the best thing rated on the website, by the way, so yeah. Now to get on to the fun part, reading about the gameplay. Maybe this will tell us what we did wrong, okay? Gameground combines elements of action, strategy, and puzzle solving. Puzzle solving. The game is set in a futuristic world where the player controls a team of warriors and must navigate through various stages filled with enemies. The objective is to reach the goal while defeating adversaries and avoiding hazards. What sets Gameground apart is its innovative approach to character control. Players can select different characters from their team, each with unique abilities and weapons. Strategically choosing the right characters is crucial to overcoming obstacles and progressing through the game. That much is correct. And to emphasize that point, they decided to show us a really spot the difference kind of picture here. 4 copies of him. Wow. I'm gonna grab my water. Yeah, that's right. Local idiot forgets to leave his water nearby when he's supposed to be reading a website for several hours on end. But of course it's April Fool, so we ain't cutting shit. Alright. So, back from the slideshow. Features. Gameground offers several key features that make it a standout retro game. Ooh. Let's read about some of these features. Challenging levels. This game features a wide variety of levels, each with its own set of obstacles and enemies. As you progress, the difficulty increases, testing your skills and strategy. I'd say that's pretty true. Diverse characters. Gameground. Again, what's with this? They always put Gameground as one word. It's like they're translating the Japanese version of the name and doing that. If you ever go into Google Translate and try to translate the name of Gameground, it'll translate as one word, which is really weird. They take out the space for some reason. Anyway. Gameground provides a roster of diverse characters, each with their own strengths and weaknesses. Experimenting with different character combinations adds depth and replayability to the game. That is true. Cooperative gameplay. In addition to the single-player mode, Gameground offers a cooperative multiplayer mode. Team up with a friend and strategize together to overcome the game's challenges. Mostly true. I'm gonna give them benefit of the doubt. They're talking about the Genesis version. Specifically, Gameground SX is a one-player game. Also, who the hell has friends? Strategic decision making. Success in Gameground requires strategic decision making, or you play verbal. Analyze the situation, select the right characters, or verbal, and plan your moves carefully to overcome obstacles and defeat enemies. Mostly true. Retro visuals and soundtrack. The game's retro-inspired graphics and nostalgic soundtrack capture the essence of the era, providing an authentic and immersive gaming experience. Retro-inspired. The game came out in 1990s, and you call it retro-inspired, even though that would imply that it came out after retro games and was inspired by them. So how can you be inspired by something that is the era? Like, oh, I was in, oh, I was inspired by the release of the game that came out yesterday. You know, it's like no. Well, yeah, I suppose, but Game Ground's graphical style was not inspired by other Sega Genesis games. It was just what they could do at the time. Like no, that's not how it should be worded. That's just weird. Play online. Thanks to modern technology, you can enjoy playing Game Ground online directly in your web browser. This allows you to relive the nostalgia and experience the thrill of Game Ground without the need for additional hardware or software. So dust off your gaming skills, gather your friends, and embark on an adventure through Game Ground's challenging levels. Rediscover the joy of retro gaming with this Sega classic. Game Ground, known as a beloved old classic game, offers a captivating gameplay experience that has stood the test of time. Let's explore the main elements of its gameplay, including controls, tasks, and player objectives. Okay. That section went a little longer than I thought. Why is this paragraph needed? Maybe the sentence is good, but the one below it is like, we already talked about how it's a good game. Thank you. We devolving into madness here a little, maybe. Once again, here we are. Slideshow gameplay. This actually takes us somewhere. Oh, I see. It's the fourth picture that didn't load. That is a good website design. Even I bet you with a page refresh, it probably won't work correctly. Oh, it worked. All right, I was wrong. Controls. Mastering the controls is essential to navigate through Game Ground's challenging levels. Here are the basic controls typically used to play the game. Typically. Okay. Directional buttons. Use the directional buttons to move your characters horizontally and vertically. Oh man, I can't believe I can't move diagonally. Action button. Press the action button to perform various actions, such as attacking enemies, activating switches, or interacting with objects. Alright, here's where I need to put the disclaimer. If you couldn't tell by the nature of the way this is capitalized Queen Deltarune style, I think this might be AI generated. Now, you'd think as a computer scientist and a Game Ground fan that I'd be pro AI. No, it just limits you. You literally can't do better than what the AI gives you. You can't improve. You can never change. It sucks ass. How are you going to get better at writing if you're not writing? You know, you're willingly accepting the fact that you will never be better than the sum average of human intelligence. And as evidenced by this website, the sum average of human intelligence doesn't know that there are no switches or interactable objects in Game Ground, except maybe the 1-6 and 2-2 door, and possibly a torch in Game Ground again, which is lost media, and that was entirely speculation on my part. So that sentence is factually flawed in several ways. Okay, character selection. Utilize the character selection feature to switch between different characters in your team, each with their own unique abilities and weapons. Mostly true. Can't change characters on the fly unless it's Game Ground again. Strategy planning. Employ strategic planning to analyze the situation and select the most suitable characters for each challenge. Okay, hold up a second. This is in the controls section. Are you implying that the meta ability to analyze a level is a control? Like, I can press the X button on my fancy Mortal Kombat Genesis controller and it will like pop up a Terminator style detection screen, analyzes the screen and says the best character for this level is Mud Puppy. No, that's not a control, that's a brain. The brain is the strongest muscle, I guess. Tasks and objectives. Okay. Game Ground presents players with a series of tasks and objectives that they must accomplish to progress the game. There are multiple? Okay. Here are the key aspects of tasks and objectives. Defeat enemies. Objectives. Eliminate. Okay, what is this table? Hold up a sec. What is this table? Tasks and objectives. Tasks is a short word of it, and objectives is a long word of it. Defeat enemies, eliminate adversaries and strategically placed throughout the levels. Oh, now the capitalization is fixed. The capitalization just fixed itself. Why does it do that? I don't know. Avoid hazards. Navigate through hazardous environments such as traps, projectiles. Okay. Reach the goal. Guide your team and characters to the goal. Rescue allies. Save captured allies by reaching them before times run out or defeating their captors. Unlock new levels. Successfully complete levels to unlock new and more challenging stages. Okay. So what's stated here is not factually wrong. These are things you have to do to beat Gain Ground, but they are not programmed parts of the code that allow you to progress. These are not unlocking conditions. The only conditions to get to the next level is either kill all the enemies or get all your guys across the exit or have at least one character through the exit when the timer runs out. So, defeating enemies is not necessary to beat the game. You could beat the game with minimal kills possible, except for 310. But still, you can minimal kill Gain Ground. You do not have to kill enemies to progress through levels. You also don't have to avoid hazards to get through the levels. As evidenced by my genocide run, you can kill nearly everyone and win. Sure, in theory, you have to dodge, like, the last missile. But, like, even then, no. You just spend a lot more quarters if you do. I mean, I'm sorry. Reach the goal. Okay. Guide your team and characters to the goal. Technically, you never have to use the exit in Gain Ground. You never have to rescue characters. And once again, rescue allies. You never have to rescue captives, in theory. Athra can hit the high ground. And in the case that you don't want to hit the high ground, you can take the exit. There is no required correct way to beat Gain Ground. So, just in general, and unlock, yes, I suppose if you defeat a level, you get more challenging stages in the form of the next level. But just factually speaking, this paragraph is incorrect on the fundamental level that there are no tasks or objectives to correctly beat Gain Ground. You can beat Gain Ground as incorrectly as you want, even if you are like one of those dumbasses that just plays every game that exists but only uses the rewind scrub feature on your save state or emulator, just to have no consequences. You're not playing Gain Ground. You're just trying to get to the end of Gain Ground so that you can put every video on the internet on your channel, I don't know. I got feelings about that kind of stuff. It's a shame. Anyways, next section. Play the classic game. Okay. If you're eager to experience the nostalgia and thrill of a classic game, Gain Ground is a must-play. Look for platforms that offer the opportunity to play this old classic game online. Simply search for Play Gain Ground or visit retro gaming websites to find options that allow you to enjoy the game without the need for additional hardware or software. Embark on this retro gaming adventure, test your skills, and relish in the joy of playing Gain Ground, a true gem of the gaming world. Okay, that's true. True gem of the gaming world. Why does this paragraph act like it's not on the same webpage, not even the same URL as a Gain Ground emulator? Why is it telling you to Google this when you're here? What kind of aneurysm was the writer having? Also, there's a video here of a 3-minute review that I highly doubt is owned by the maker of this website. I actually think I have seen this video before. Let's just look at it quick.
Real-time strategy is one of the most heart-pounding and intense experiences in gaming. It's not very often that the phrase is uttered in the same sentence as Sega Genesis, however.
I feel like I've seen this before.
The RTS elements in this case are not used to control a great number of units. Instead, you control one of 20 combatants, especially if you're going.
Seen this. I know there's no way this person has made this website. I'm 80% certain this was bought by someone for cheap. This domain was bought by someone for cheap, and they filled it with as much as they could to justify it. It's not justified, in my opinion. Also, it's kind of illegal to, host a game online like this. That's called piracy. I mean, I believe Minecraft got in some trouble back in the day, in the 1.6 era, when you could just, make a temp name and log into Minecraft on any Google site you wanted. I tried making one of those, by the way, a Google site with Minecraft on it. Did not work. I also tried Flash games. Did not know how to embed those. I do now, after Flash has completely died. That is a sad skill to learn, but I know it. Speaking of, if any of you want me to decompile Flash projects for you, I also know how to do that. So, anyway, and we got more slideshow. Gameground FAQs. Okay, frequently asked questions. How to play Gameground. Gameground is a tactical action game where the objective is to either eliminate all enemies on the screen or move one or more of your characters to the exit. The game features various characters, each with different weapons and abilities. Players can select which character they want to use before each level and switch characters during gameplay. Strategic use of characters and positioning is key to progressing through levels. Okay, that's a pretty good description of what Gameground is. There's not really many controls there, talking about how characters have 2 weapons or, the D-pad, all that kind of stuff. But I mean, this is technically the correct answer to how to play Gameground. You can't minimize it once you've clicked it. That's sad. Poor website design, alas. At least it doesn't put a hashtag in your URL. How to enter cheats on Sega Gameground. Ooh. This is going to be interesting. To enter cheat codes in Sega Gameground, specific button combinations are usually required. Usually, sometimes you can do it without, For example, on the title screen or during gameplay, you might need to enter a sequence like up, down, left, right, A, B, C. Note that cheat codes can vary depending on the version of the game, so ensure that you are using the correct code for your version. Okay. To my knowledge, no version of Gameground has the cheat code up, down, left, right, A, B, C. I know this for a fact because the Master System version doesn't have a C button. The PS2 version doesn't have A, B, or C buttons. The arcade version didn't have letters on their buttons. Even then, no, why would they put a cheat code in a coin-op? Let's see. S.H? I don't know what S.H had. All I know for a fact is that the Genesis cheat code is ACBC. There's no other cheat codes. I spent too many years of my childhood at the library checking out cheat guidebooks, which taught me that Mario 64 and Mario 64 DS were very much not the same game, and the DS came later. Somehow I didn't know that as a child. I know that the Master System code is just like holding a button, and then you can level select from the world select screen. That's not even a cheat code. That's just something everyone knows, because you can replay Master System levels as many times as you need to get infinite characters, in theory. The speedruns do it. It's not cheating. It's not part of a cheat percent category. It's just part of any percent that you want to collect characters. So, this is correct, except for the fact that buttons are usually required. That implies that there are ways to cheat without pressing button combinations, which doesn't make sense to me. Although I do like ensure you're using the correct cheat code for your version. That is correct. A lot of cheat codes in Gameground are exclusive to their versions, so make sure you are checking. Is Gameground a difficult game? Okay, this is going to be a fun question. Yes, Gameground is generally considered to be a challenging game. It requires strategic thinking, quick reflexes, and careful planning. The game becomes progressively more difficult as players advance through levels with more complex layouts and tougher enemies. This is the most true sentence I have read on this website. Can't believe it took to the bottom of the first page to actually get something 100% factually correct, and it's still an opinion. Is it multiplayer? Yes, Gameground features a multiplayer mode. 2 players can play cooperatively, which adds an additional layer of strategy to the game as players can work together to defeat enemies and accomplish objectives. This cooperative aspect is one of the highlights of Gameground. Mostly true, 2 complaints. 1, we already discussed, no objectives. 2, not every version is multiplayer. There's S.H and probably Gameground again. But otherwise, that is the homepage. Copyright 2023, all rights reserved. What the hell? Why does this exist in the way it does? Why are you spreading misinformation? And why is every letter capitalized until it decides, no thank you, we're just going to forget about that? There's so many pages. All right, how to play. Let's do all of this. I checked earlier. These are all different pages to the top banner. And clicking this just takes you back to playgameground.com. It's just a home link. So, let's go through each of these in order. How to play. How to play Gameground. I feel like we already discussed this on the homepage, but let's look at it again. Gameground is a strategic arcade game. Okay, it's an arcade game now, where your goal is to navigate through levels and defeat enemies. The game is played using the keyboard or a controller. The keyboard? So it's an arcade game, but it's played using the keyboard or a controller. So arcade cabinets have joysticks and buttons, and the Switch version of it has joysticks and buttons. Technically, you can play on a Switch controller, but I play on Switch Lite, so joke's on you. It sucks. But that is 2 sentences in the same paragraph that directly contradict each other. Let's see here. Use the arrow keys to move your characters and the spacebar or a designated button to attack. Hold up a second. Okay, navigate through each level, defeat enemies, to reach the exit progress. Okay, and a slideshow again. Let's test that. Use the spacebar button to attack, assuming this is not AI-generated hallucinations. I should be able to press the spacebar on this keyboard to attack enemies. So I'm just going to press, Z and C to get myself spawned in. But you hear that? That's the sound of my spacebar. It's not doing shit. They're liars. Well, to be fair, it also says or a designated button. So they're covering their bases. They got their lawyers in present. They know they can't be sued if they say, oh, it could be the space bar or literally any other button on your keyboard. We technically didn't lie. It's just the button designated. And we suggested that it might have been the space bar because we didn't know, even though it's our own website. Yes, thank you very much. How to use characters. Ooh, this is going to be fun. Gameground features Gameground features a variety of playable characters, each with their own unique abilities and strengths. To switch between characters, use the number keys 1 through 9 or the assigned buttons on your controller. Okay. Mother of mercy. Use the number keys 1 through 9 or the assigned button on your controller. Okay, I know I just got over the lawyer rant, but come on. Neither of those are true. You cannot change characters halfway through using a character. You have to kill them or run them to the exit in order to select a new characters with the arrow buttons and your fire buttons, which apparently is spacebar or whatever is designated. Okay, but somehow now you can press a number button like you're just like scrolling through your TF2 weapons to pull out your sentry gun or whatever, and you get any character you want 1 through 9. Even though there are 20 in the game and you can carry upwards of 50 if you screw around with it. What is this nonsense? Okay, experiment with different characters to find the best strategy for each level. Some characters excel in long-range attacks, while others are more effective in close combat or provide support skills. Utilize their abilities to overcome challenges and defeat enemies. Okay. Whoever wrote this part of the sentence, was watching my Gain Ground Again review. The latter half of the sentence is clearly Ada, the medic, and the former half is clearly Stonehead, the he's freaking Stonehead, man. Otherwise, that's not too bad of a paragraph compared to the number keys 1 through 9. What is that nonsense? Okay. Score and bonus. Ooh, let's see how much they get correct. Your score in Gain Ground is determined by various factors, including the number of enemies defeated, the speed of level completion, and the number of captives rescued. Lattermost one is not true, unless possibly Gain Ground Again. I can't remember if you get points for doing it, but you are notified that you did it, so maybe you do. As you progress through the game, you may earn bonuses for achieving specific objectives or meeting certain criteria. Bonuses can provide additional points, extra lives, or temporary power-ups to enable your gameplay. What? What is this, Lego Star Wars, where you hit a block and you get a power orb? Or no. Extra lives are your characters, and power-ups do not exist unless we haven't seen it in Gain Ground Again. There are no criteria to do this. You just have to rescue hostages. Hostages are your lives, and you don't get points for rescuing hostages. You know what you get bonus points for? Beating bosses. That's the only criteria that gives you an immediate bonus points. This entire section is arse. Pardon my British. It's ass. Okay. We're going to give this a 0 out of 5. This page specifically for its heresy. Do not blaspheme in my Gain Ground website. Alright, mode selection. Who wants to bet this has nothing to do with the Genesis version? I'm going to bet heavily. Mode selection in Gain Ground. Mode selection in the game. Sorry, let me drink some water here. Ooh, this is nuts on my voice. Mode selection in the game Gain Ground refers to the process of choosing a specific game mode or gameplay options before starting a new session. Gain Ground offers various modes that provide different challenges, gameplay mechanics, and objectives for players to engage with. When accessing the mode selection menu in Gain Ground, players are presented with several options to choose from. These options may include, okay, they're already doing the lawyer talk, they're already saying may include, you know? They're trying to hide the fact that they might be wrong. Okay, let's see if they mention easy mode, normal mode, hard mode, full member mode, I'll count that as hard mode, and extra mode in PS2. Those are the ones I will count as modes, unless they remind me of something very specific. Let's see what they have. Okay, they're counting it a bit differently. Single player. Okay, I'm not going to read that far. Single player mode. Okay, single player mode. This allows players to embark on their game's journey individually, taking on the challenges and progressing through the levels on their own. In single player mode, the player typically controls one character at a time and faces off against computer controlled opponents. Okay, typically controls one character at a time. As if there's a way not to. Interesting. Multiplayer mode. GameGround also offers a multiplayer mode where two or more players can participate simultaneously. This is correct. This mode enables players to compete against each other or collaborate as a team, either locally or through online connectivity. You heard it here first, folks. Game Ground for the 1988 arcade systems had online connectivity. Take that, Nintendo DS and your GTS system, and your Linksys Wi-Fi connection, and your C Gears. Game Ground did it first. This is a lie. They're talking about their website again. But as we mentioned, no direct way to prove through the emulator we played that you can play Game Ground connectively with someone online. You'd have to be sitting at the same chair as them, and the option to change your controls would have to work. Okay, now they're smoking crack. Co-op mode. In co-op mode, players can join forces and play together cooperatively. They work together to overcome obstacles, defeat enemies, and achieve common objectives. Co-op mode encourages teamwork and coordination between players. Then what the hell is collaborate as a team supposed to be in multiplayer mode? They're the same thing. What are you doing? My voice is going to kill me tomorrow. Can't take this website, but I must. I have been taunted by the cat into doing this. Time attack mode. Time attack mode introduces a time-based challenge where players strive to complete levels or objectives within a specified time limit. This mode adds an additional layer of urgency and tests the player's ability to act swiftly and efficiently. The game always has a timer. This is the same game. There should only be 2 numbers on this list so far, and we're at 4. I doubt you're gonna do anything with 5. Challenge mode. Okay, let's see how they describe this. Challenge mode in Game Ground presents players with specific attacks or scenarios designed to test their skills and abilities. These challenges often have unique rules or restrictions that require players to strategize and think creatively to overcome them. This is not retroachievements.com. We do not have those. This is a Genesis game. Or, I'm sorry, it's an online game, apparently. Bonus modes. Okay, let's see what they do here. Game Ground may also have bonus modes that unlock additional content or provide alternative gameplay experiences. These modes can include special missions, hidden levels, or even mini games that offer a break from the main gameplay. This is the greatest lie ever told by mankind. Game Ground does not have special missions, hidden levels, or mini games that take breaks from the gameplay. What is wrong with this website? And we got a slideshow of Cyber nuking the hell out of some rocks, only to realize it did nothing. And I accidentally clicked on the picture. Okay. Mode selection in Game Ground allows players to tailor their gaming experience according to their preferences and desired level of difficulty. Whether players seek solo adventures, competitive matches, cooperative gameplay, or specific challenges, the mode selection menu provides the means to choose the most suitable option for their playstyle. No. More slideshow. And that's the end of this page. I gave 2 out of 5 for trying. I gave 0 out of 5 for being wrong. I gotta give this a 1 out of 5 on technicality that it does mention single player and multiplayer and a time limit. Otherwise, nothing on this page is correct. Okay, so if mode selection was supposed to be the hallucinogenic way of describing the 1 player, 2 players options menu, then is the options screen actually going to discuss the difficulty settings? Let's find out. Options screen in Game Ground. Oh no. The options screen. Okay, so wait, hold up. I just realized. Options screen in Gain Ground. Gain Ground. There's a space bar here, but not down there. The option screens in the game Game Ground is a menu that allows players to customize various game settings and preferences according to their preferences. Oh, it lets me adjust my preferences according to my preferences? Wow. That's what that sentence was. What I just replicated the emotion of that sentence by saying that's 5 times in a row. It provides a range of adjustable options to enhance the gameplay experience and cater to individual player preferences. There's that word again. When accessing the option screen in Game Ground, players typically encounter a variety of settings and configurations, which may include, welcome back to Lawyers, I am your host, audio settings. The option screens allow players to adjust the volume levels of in-game music, sound effects, and voiceovers. This feature enables players to fine-tune the audio balance and create their desired auditory experience. That doesn't exist. Unless you're in PS2, maybe? Or Game Ground again? But there are no voice lines. I guess PS2 has voice lines, but no. Your website version of Game Ground does not have these features. Good thing it may include them, or else you may be in trouble. You may be shot tomorrow. I don't know. Display settings. The display settings on the option screen provide players with the ability to modify visual aspects of the game. This can include adjusting the screen resolution, choosing between different display modes such as full screen or windowed, and configuring graphical effects. Maybe on Steam. Maybe on Steam. Nowhere else will that exist. Control configuration. Game Ground offers customizable control options, not here apparently, allowing players to remap or modify the game's default control scheme. This feature is especially useful for players who prefer specific keyboard or controller configurations to suit their play style. We tried. We're trying. It's assuming that you don't have money and buy an emulator. Then yes, the emulator you purchase will probably allow you to change your controls for free, but not this one. Difficulty level, that's the first thing that's actually true about this game. The options screen may include the ability to select the game's difficulty level. Players can choose between different difficulty settings that determine the challenge and intensity of the gameplay. Options can range from easy or casual modes to more demanding and punishing difficulty levels. True that, especially in the PS2 versions where the difficulty doesn't actually control how many characters you own or how many levels you play, it actually controls the intelligence and numbers of the AI. That is the most true paragraph in this page. Language selection. Okay, for international players, the option screen provides the opportunity to choose the game's language. This allows players to enjoy the game in their preferred language, enriching accessibility and enjoyment. Notoriously, Game Ground, at least for the Sega Genesis, does not have languages. Numerous mods have had to be made of the game to translate it so that the words in and out actually say words, that are in your language. So ultimately, not mostly true. I have not seen a language setting in Game Ground again, to my memory, and PS2 is a Japanese exclusive game, so I doubt they had the option to change things to English. In fact, it was already half English as it was, with all the character names being English, and the word hurry up. So I doubt that any version of Game Ground actually has language selection options. Even the European Union famous Game Ground for the Master System does not have language settings, because it is an 8-bit game that cannot handle that. Water break. Stay hydrated, my friends. Game progress and save settings. In Game Ground, the option screen may provide options related to game progress and save settings. This can include the ability to save and load game data, manage save slots, or access additional features related to player progress and achievements. Again, this entire paragraph might be true for Game Ground again, but it's not true for any other version. There are no achievements. There are no achievements. I'm sorry. You're wrong. Slideshow. The option screen in Game Ground serves as a versatile tool for players to personalize their gaming experience. By offering a range of adjustable settings, it allows players to tailor their game to their liking, ensuring maximum enjoyability and comfort while playing. Slideshow. 0 out of 5. There are a few things in here that are true, but they are inconsistent wildly. So, now, probably 0.5 out of 5. That would be a 1 out of 10 for those of you math nerds. Playable characters. Okay. Before we start the playable characters, I would like to remind everyone 20 characters in base Game Ground, 10 unique to the Master System version that share some abilities occasionally with the main cast. Then there are 25 Game Ground Again characters, of which we know of 4 unique ones. And Misty. Don't ask about Misty. I found out about it a while ago from an ancient thread. Apparently there's a character in Game Ground Again called Misty. We don't know what she does. That's the end of the sentence. Playable characters. Playable characters in the game Game Ground are the individuals that players can control and utilize throughout the gameplay. Each playable character possesses unique abilities, skills, and weapons, providing players with a diverse range of options to approach different challenges in the game. True that. Thank you. Game Ground offers a wide variety of playable characters, each with their own distinct characteristics. These characters often fall into different archetypes or classes, such as... Okay, before we look at them. Mostly true. Mostly true. I can immediately tell by this first one that it's going to be a problem. Ranged attackers. These characters excel in long-range combat, utilizing firearms, energy beams, or projectiles to deal damage to enemies from a safe distance. They are typically effective in taking down enemies before they can get close. So, literally everyone. Everyone has a gun, unless your name is Stonehead. Everyone has a gun. Also, I don't know anyone who shoots energy beams specifically. Maybe they're confusing that for the really weird projectile shape of Ko in the Genesis version. But no energy beams. Melee fighters. Ooh, they're predicting Stonehead. Melee-focused characters specialize in close quarters combat, using melee weapons or martial arts techniques to engage enemies directly. They possess enhanced strength and agility, making them formidable in hand-to-hand combat. Characters have 1 HP in Game Ground, unless you're in Game Ground Again. And the only melee character we know about in Game Ground Again wields an axe. So no one does close quarters combat. Martial art techniques might refer to the Master System ninja. Then again, the ninja throws shurikens and lays traps that poison the ground. Neither of which are very martial arts in my book. In fact, I don't even think the concept of ninja is martial arts, because martial arts is like actual like taekwondo and stuff, you know? Ninja is like a culture of fighting philosophies. It is not a style of fighting. It is... No, that's not true. In fact, even if it is on the same level as taekwondo, I know for certain that martial arts refers to very specific practices, and ninjas can use martial arts. But martial arts users are not ninjas unless they are trained to be ninjas. You know, a square is not a rectangle situation. You know, all that nonsense. Okay, so we have range and melee. Does that mean we're going to have a support next? Support characters. Support characters provide assistance to the player's team by offering healing abilities, defensive buffs, or other forms of support. They play a crucial role in sustaining the team and boosting their effectiveness in battles. What is this, D&D? Okay. Ada can heal the party. And if you read my translation document, the party leader in Gain Ground Again gives the party a collective buff. For example, a movement speed increase if your first character has that buff, or an attack damage increase if your first character has that buff. It is a benefit to choosing a leader. So technically, characters can buff the team with support, but only in Gain Ground Again, and it's just a supplementary complement to choosing that character as your first character. It is not the character's sole duty. The character's sole duty is to shoot things. Having that buff is just a little bonus that helps you. So no, I would call this mostly incorrect. Specialized abilities, not just special ability, specialized ability. Gain Ground also features characters with unique and specialized abilities, such as teleportation, invulnerability, or area of effect attacks. These characters bring a distinctive playstyle and strategic advantage to the player's teams. Okay, so let's look at these one at a time. I'm starting to become lightheaded from yelling so much. Teleportation. The wizards do it. We are not wizards. Invulnerability. You get some invulnerability frames when you spawn in. Otherwise, no, that's not an ability of a character, that's just something you have. Area of effect attacks. Grenadiers in the arcade version actually did have splash damage. I did not know if they can hit multiple things, but they hit things in a much wider hitbox than bullets. Unlike in the Genesis version where they're just bullets. They're not explosives. They can't hit multiple things. They can't hit, actually they can hit multiple things in the PS2 version, but they can't hit multiple things in the Genesis version. It's sad, it's depressing. Betty, my dear honey, you have been robbed. So, all in all, this is mostly false. Slideshow. Reverse order slideshow, because apparently you load 1-9 after you run him through. Alright. As players progress through the game and rescue captives, they unlock additional playable characters, expanding their roster and tactical options. The diverse array of playable characters encourages players to experiment with different combinations and strategies, adapting to the challenges presented in each level. Strategic selection and utilization of playable characters are key to success in Gain Ground. Players must consider the strengths and weaknesses of each character as well as the demands of the current level to form an effective team composition. This decision-making process adds depth and strategic elements to the gameplay experience. Overall, the presence of playable characters in Gain Ground adds variety, replayability, and strategic depth to the game. Each character brings a unique set of abilities and playstyles, allowing players to tailor their approach and develop their own preferred strategies as they progress through the game. I've noticed this website repeats a lot of grammar. Things about tailoring and their preferred strategies as they progress through the game, and depth, and a lot of words are the same. Slideshow. Okay, this page gets a 1 for having descriptive paragraphs that are spot on, but knowledge that is clearly entirely false or too generalized to be correct. Playing hints. Ooh, we got some nice quick tips and tricks to help you get your money. Okay. Uh-oh. Playing hints in the game Gain Ground are valuable pieces of information or tips provided to players to assist them in understanding the game mechanics, strategies, and objectives. These hints serve as guidance to help players navigate through the game and improve their overall performance. Gain Ground offers playing hints through various means, such as... So it's implying that there are hints in the game to help you play? The game doesn't even tell you how to rescue hostages. What kind of hints could it be giving you? What kind of nonsense? Loading screens. Hints and tips may be displayed on loading screens between levels or during transitions. These brief messages provide players with useful insights, including gameplay mechanics, character abilities, or level-specific strategies. Ah, yes, my favorite level-specific strategy. This will make you or break you. Next level is not too easy. You have defeated this epoch. Now you will progress to the next epoch. No. No, those are not hints. Tutorial levels? Game Ground often includes tutorial levels that introduce players to the basic controls, mechanics, and objectives of the game. These tutorial stages provide step-by-step guidance, explaining the essential gameplay elements and offering hands-on practice. No, there are no tutorials. This is Game Ground. You dive in and you die. There is nothing to save you. There is no collect the things in this order. If you collect the microwave after you collected the other microwave because it's flashing, you get a times 6 bonus. This is not Mappy. This is Game Ground. In-game messages. Throughout the game, players may receive in-game messages or prompts that offer hints, reminders, or suggestions. These messages can appear during gameplay, alerting players of specific features, objectives, or potential challenges they may encounter. Okay, let's think of all the messages you get in Game Ground. If you're playing the arcade version, the first hostage yells, "Help!" and that's it. If you're playing Game Ground again, you're told, "Hostage rescue failed," on the in-between level screen. Otherwise, the game never tells you anything. It hardly tells you the plot unless you can read Japanese. Character descriptions. When selecting playable characters, Game Ground may provide brief descriptions or summaries of their abilities and playstyles. These descriptions can offer valuable hints about the character's strengths, weaknesses, and recommended strategies for optimal performances. Technically true about Game Ground again, but we don't have access to that game. But what we do know is that those menus only describe the characters themselves and not how to use them, just what their weapons are and their backstory in relation to the Game Ground system. There is nothing about how to play them. Level design and visual clues. Level design and visual cues. Game Ground often employs level design and visual cues to provide subtle hints to players. These cues can include the placement of objects, the arrangement of enemies, or the environmental features that suggest potential strategies or hidden paths. Okay, mostly true. Except hidden paths, unless it's Game Ground again. But Game Ground is very much a game about analyzing visually the stage. There's still more. Help menu or documentation. This game may feature a help menu or an in-game documentation section where players can access detailed information and hints about gameplay mechanics, character abilities, or specific aspects of the game. Blatantly false. Slideshow. Playing hints in Game Ground aims to improve the player's understanding of the game's mechanics and assist them in making informed decisions. By providing valuable guidance, these hints enhance the player's overall experience, helping them overcome challenge and develop effective strategies to progress through the game. Slideshow. End. 0 out of 5. Screw you for not giving us hints, Game Ground. If everything in here was true, I would be so happy that new players could actually learn how to play you. But they cannot. Let's try the next section a bit quieter now. Rescuing captives. Rescuing captives in Game Ground. Rescuing captives is a significant gameplay mechanic in Game Ground that involves the act of liberating imprisoned characters within the game. Throughout the levels, players encounter captive characters who are trapped and require rescue to join the player's team. In Game Ground, the primary objective of rescuing captives is to expand the player's rosters of playable characters, each possessing unique abilities and strengths. By freeing captors, players gain access to new characters which in turn enhances their strategic options and gameplay variety. Slideshow. We've seen these pictures before. Slideshow. To rescue captives, players must navigate the level and reach the captive's location. Often, captives are guarded by enemy units or placed in challenging positions, requiring players to overcome obstacles and defeat adversaries to reach them. Each captive presents a specific challenge or scenario that players must overcome to secure their release. Once a captive is freed, they join the player's team and become a playable character. This allows players to switch between characters during gameplay, utilizing their distinct abilities to overcome subsequent challenges. Rescue captives often possess specialized skills or unique attacks, contributing to the player's tactical arsenal. Slideshow. The process of rescuing captives adds an additional layer of depth to Gameground's gameplay. It encourages players to explore levels thoroughly, strategize their actions, and plan their movements to ensure successful liberation of captives. Additionally, it promotes the utilization of a diverse range of characters, fostering adaptability and experimentation in combat scenarios. Rescuing captives in Gameground is not only vital for progressing through the game, but also contributes to the narrative and thematic Okay, I'm sorry. Okay, yeah, technically it does. The theme of Gameground is that humans have lost their survival instincts. So rescuing people who have died, risking your life to save them, that would count. And then them in turn joining the fight, maybe that counts. It reinforces the concept of unity and liberation as players work towards freeing their comrades and building a formidable team to overcome the game's challenges. Overall, the rescuing of captives in Gameground serves as a key gameplay element that rewards players with new characters, encourages strategic thinking, and adds depth to the overall gaming experience. This is all correct, but it's stale. Also, I forgot the fact that you only get the character starting in the next level. Nitpicky nerd here. So I'm going to give this a 3. It's correct, but it's stale. Screen indicators. Okay, ASMR Arial was nice, but I have to be mad. I have to stay mad. It won't matter. I'm going to drink water. Don't care about my voice. I build websites. Who's going to be talking to me? Screen indicators in Gameground. In the game Gameground, screen indicators are visual cues or icons displayed on the screen to provide important information to the player. These indicators play a crucial role in enhancing the gameplay experience and adding understanding to various aspects of the game. So is this talking about like the pillar boxes? I suppose it would be. A strange way to describe it as visual cues as if they're subtle elements, not the actual thing. Slideshow. Screen indicators in Gameground serve multiple purposes. One common type of indicator is the health or life bar, which displays the remaining vitality of the player's character. This indicator allows players to monitor their character's health and make strategic decisions based on their current condition. Okay, I was about to complain, but I just read the next sentence. Another important screen indicator in Gameground is the ammunition or weapon indicator. This indicator informs players about the remaining ammunition or energy for the character's primary weapon or special abilities. It helps the player gauge the availability of their offensive capabilities and plan their actions accordingly. Okay, first off, there is no health in Gameground except Gameground again. And second, ammunition is not a thing in Gameground. Yes, every character has a different type of ammunition, but you cannot run out of ammunition. What you can do is hit the shot projectile limit, the hard/soft limits of how many of each weapon instance you can have on the screen at any given time. You can manipulate this by just making sure your weapons always hit something. That way they despawn and you can shoot again right away. But the game does not tell you your weapon limits. You just have to find out by spamming, oh, this is how fast I can spam. So this is all malarkey. Slideshow. For some reason, they are cyber, and then they're not cyber. That's very weird. Additionally, okay. Additionally, GameGround may utilize indicators to highlight objectives or mission progress. These indicators guide players by pointing towards important locations or providing visual clues to indicate the completion of specific tasks. They help. I'm sorry, I was so instinctively going to say they may help players. No, they absolutely help players stay oriented and understand the overall objectives of each level or mission. Furthermore, screen indicators can also provide information about power-ups or collectibles present in the game. These indicators notify players about the location or availability of valuable items that can enhance their gameplay, such as extra lives, upgraded weapons, or temporary power boosts. The effective use of screen indicators in GameGround enhances the player's situational awareness, allowing them to make informed decisions and navigate through the game more efficiently by providing events. I'm not even going to finish reading this. I would love to have upgraded weapons or temporary power boosts, and extra lives don't exist. None of this is true. This page gets a 0. None of it is true. GameGround is notoriously a game that gives you no information unless you read the manual. None of this is accurate in the slightest. Alright, we're on the last one of the homepage. Taking control. Taking control in the game GameGround refers to the action of assuming command over a character or unit within the game. Really, I thought it just meant, playing the game. GameGround is a strategic arcade game where players navigate various levels, taking control of different characters with unique abilities or weapons. Yes, you've stated that multiple times. Slideshow. To take control in GameGround, players must strategically approach each level, employing tactics to overcome obstacles and defeat enemy units. By reaching a specific character or unit, players can initiate a control action, allowing them to command that particular character and utilize their specific skills. Taking control in GameGround requires careful planning and execution, as players must assess the strengths and weaknesses of each character they encounter. Some characters excel in ranged combat, while others possess close quarters combat or skills or unique abilities such as healing or teleportation. Again, with the insistence that we can teleport in this game, all of this is factually true. You must be careful who you select, but you can't command characters that you approach. You rescue them. They're acting as if this is some sort of top-down military commander thing. Like, they're describing it like it's Cannon Brawl. They're describing it as if you control a little pilotable airship that floats around the level to Johnny, to Athra, to Verbal, to Stonehead, and you say, all right, Zaymon, throw the tornado here. Okay, now I'm going to dock with Stonehead. I'm going to tell him to swing the axe. Okay, now I'm going to get out of there. I'm going to angle and adjust my Johnny and fire. No, that's not what GameGround is. And that's why I like Cannon Brawl. Slideshow. By taking control of different characters, players can adapt their strategies to the challenges presented in each level. Switching between characters allows for flexibility in combat approaches, enabling players to overcome various obstacles and defeat enemy forces more efficiently. True in GameGround again, where you can actually do that. Overall, taking control in GameGround adds a layer of strategic depth to the gameplay, allowing players to experience different playstyles and adapt their strategies to achieve victory in this engaging arcade game. One half. I'm not even going to give you 1. You fundamentally misunderstood how to take control of characters. You acted as if it was a special action, even though it is just the act of playing the game. Overall, the home page. Home and all of its sub-pages. I'm going to give it a 1. Maybe a 1.5. It understands that GameGround is a video game, and that's about it. It clearly is running off of factually incorrect information, or whatever bots are creating this text are drawing their information from popular sources, such as, maybe perhaps they found the transcript of my GameGround Again video. Maybe they're pulling from that and assuming that's true for every version of GameGround. But even that can't be true because you've never been able to teleport in GameGround. Shame. Shame upon your family, Mr. PlayGameGround.com. All right. Now to play online, which is somehow different from the home page where you can play the game online. Let's go to play online. Play online just takes me to, okay, it actually drops you down to the correct page. It uses that hashtag, and it takes you to game window. Okay, cheats. Okay, here you will find a helpful collection of information to enhance your gameplay experience in this beloved retro Sega game. Thank you. Slideshow. Cheats. Cheat code. Up, down, left, right, A, B, start. Unlock all characters. That isn't true. In order to unlock all characters, you just have to play hard mode. Unless this is some very specific cheat code to like S.S.H or SMS that I'm just not aware of, this is not true. In fact, let me... Yep, that's what I thought. No one online knows about it. Okay, yep. BA, up, down, start is invincibility. No, there's never been an invincibility cheat code in GameCrown. Left, right, up, down, A, B, start is level select. No, ACBC is level select. And in Master System, it's even easier than that. You just hold down, I think, 2. Secrets. Okay, so this is cheat codes and secrets now. Hidden characters. Explore each level thoroughly to discover hidden characters with unique abilities. Some may be hidden behind breakable walls or secret passages. Again, GameCrown again. They're playing off of the what-if scenarios here. And using the word may, so their lawyers don't sue them. Power-ups. Look out for power-ups items scattered throughout the levels. These can enhance your character's abilities or provide temporary boosts. Those don't exist. Alternate routes. Some levels may have multiple paths to the goal. Explore different routes to find shortcuts or avoid particularly challenging sections. Other than 4-9 in the Genesis, which I like to call bathroom stalls, no. And also GameCrown again. Might have it, but we don't know. Except for that one door that clearly needs something to open it, but we're not sure what. Time management. Pay attention to the time limit in rescue missions. Plan your moves efficiently to reach captured allies before the time runs out. That's a secret? Oh, secret. You'll die if the timer hits 0. That's not a secret. That's a you suck at the game. We hate you. We do what Nintendo don't. That's right. We kill you when the timer goes down, even though Mario did it first. Slideshow. 2 levels. Wow. Exotic. Tips. Are we just on tips? Okay, cheats, secrets, tips. Apparently these are all the same thing. Tips. Experiment with characters. Try out different character combinations to find the ones that suit your playstyle. Each character has unique strengths and abilities that can help you overcome specific challenges. Yes! Absolutely true. Teamwork in multiplayer. In cooperative multiplayer mode, communicate and strategize with your partner. Coordinate your actions to maximize your chances of success. Yes! Finally, they're saying true things. Observe enemy patterns. Take note of enemy movements and attack patterns. This will help you anticipate their actions and plan your moves accordingly. Yes! Save special abilities. Save your character's special abilities for challenging situations or boss fights. Timing your abilities correctly can make a significant difference in overcoming tough enemies. Mostly correct. They're talking about a different way of using them, but yes, reserve your verbal for the stages where you need him so that he does not die unnecessarily. If he dies, you gotta rescue him. If you can't rescue him, you've lost him. So save him. It's like saving the Master Ball. Save your verbal for the correct situations. Master the controls. Practice using the controls to move your character swiftly and precisely. Smooth control can be essential for dodging projectiles and executing precise attacks. This is the most correct section of the entire website. Actually useful tips. I'll drink to that. Stay hydrated, folks. Slideshow. With these cheats, which aren't real, secrets, which aren't real, and tips in your mind, which are beautiful, you can enhance your gameplay experience in Gameground, discover hidden characters, unleash powerful abilities, and strategize your way to victory in this retro Sega classic. Slideshow, bottom of the page. It has to get at least 1.5 points for the tips section alone being life-saving advice. These are beautiful tips bogged down by incorrect cheat codes and false secrets worse than L is real, because at least L was real, you know? All right, gallery. So we're gonna have more slideshow. Welcome to the game ground. Oh, sorry, my bad. Welcome to the game ground. You're lucky this is an April Fool's video. Welcome to the game ground live. Welcome to the Game Ground Gallery, where you can find a collection of stunning wallpapers and posters featuring artwork inspired by this Sega Retro game. Okay, so the artwork was inspired by Game Ground and wasn't just, used for Game Ground. All right, let's take a look at this. Ooh, the Genesis box art, conveniently cropped. In fact, hold a sec. I'm looking at my box art right here. Yep, they conveniently cropped it so that you can't see the official Sega Genesis seal of approval. So they just kind of did a really poor rip job. It's not an actual artwork. Wallpapers. Immerse yourself in the world of Gameground with our carefully curated collection of high-resolution wallpapers. From pixel art illustrations to iconic scenes from the game, these wallpapers will transport you back to the golden age of arcade gaming. Customize your desktop, laptop, or mobile device with these nostalgic wallpapers and show them off your love for Gameground. And it's just some screenshots of the arcade version. You know what's sad? You know what's really sad? I have these. Like these bezels. I have them. In fact, with the posting of this video, I shall make a folder inside of my previous Sprite video drive link, which will include all of my box arts and these roster bezels from the what's it called? From the arcade version on the Switch, the Sega Ages version. I will give you all of that art in high resolution so you never have to visit this website. Posters. Decorate your gaming room, bedroom, or any space with our exclusive Gameground posters. Featuring vibrant artwork and captivating designs, these posters will add a touch of retro charm to your surroundings. Whether you're a longtime fan of the game or a retro gaming enthusiast, these posters are perfect for showcasing your passion for Gameground and capturing the essence of the era. Browse through our gallery and choose from a variety of wallpapers and posters to enhance your gaming experience and pay homage to this timeless retro Sega game. The Gameground Gallery is a treasure trove of visual delights for fans and collectors alike. Slideshow. So you have half of the picture and a bunch of screenshots of the arcade version. I'm going to give you a third of a point for at least having pictures. I will give you these. In fact, I'm going to... See this? You see this? This is Notepad. There. I'm going to remember that now. Gameplay. Gameground offers engaging gameplay experience. Gameground offers an engaging gameplay experience where players control a team of characters with unique abilities. The objective is to reach the exit of the level while overcoming enemies and obstacles. Here are the key elements of gameplay. Slideshow. No, you don't need the exit. Control. Players can switch between different characters in their team and control their movements, attacks, and special abilities. Yes, not very freely unless it's gain ground again. Team strategy. Players must strategically deploy characters to take advantage of their special abilities and overcome challenges. Absolutely true. Obstacles and enemies. Levels are filled with various obstacles such as pits, spikes, and traps. Enemies range from basic foes to powerful boss characters. Pits, spikes, and traps. I guess the Kaizo Hall in the SMS version, just the first level of the final era, I guess that has traps. Are they spikes? They kind of like just red. I don't know. Progression. The goal is to clear each level by reaching the exit, but time is limited, adding a sense of urgency and requiring efficient decision making. Or you can kill all the enemies. Like, once again, why are you insisting on the timer? It wasn't even a game mode in the previous one. Cooperative mode. Game Ground allows two players to play cooperatively, fostering teamwork and coordination. True. Levels and areas. Game Ground presents a diverse range of levels and areas for players to explore. Here are some notable examples. Slide shows all of the same level. Okay. Forest Grove. A dense forest filled with towering trees and hidden dangers. I assume this must be the early half of World 1. Because what are you talking about otherwise? Ruins of Antiquity. Explore ancient ruins with collapsing structures and treacherous platforms. Okay, there's no 3D platforms in this game. It's all a 2D space. But I mean, like, it's a 3D game, but you walk on a 2D plane. You understand what I'm getting at. This must be referring to the later half of World 1 or Europe. It's referring to Europe. Okay. Desert sands. Navigate scorching hot deserts with shifting sands and sandstorms. Neither of those are true. There are no sandstorms, and this is not Mario 64. And it is not for the DS or the GameCube. Nintendo 64, whatever. You know what I'm saying. Shifting Sandland does not exist. Industrial Zone. Journey through the mechanized industrial areas filled with complex machinery and hazards. Must be talking about the modern era. Underwater Abyss. Dive into the depths of an underwater abyss, navigating through the currents and aquatic creatures. That would be awesome if we had the goatee here. Spelled G-H-O-T-I, pronounced fish. No, not true. And that's it. Okay. You forgot the future. Unless you're talking about the future in this industrial zone. And in that case, the underwater abyss. I suppose these kind of look underwater, but this is just jail cells. Slideshow. Enemies and obstacles. In Game Ground, players will encounter a variety of enemies and obstacles that pose challenges along the way. Here are some examples. Standard enemies. Basic enemies appear throughout the levels, each with their own attack patterns and behaviors. Correct. Boss characters. Powerful boss characters await at the end of certain levels, requiring strategic approaches to defeat. I guess that's correct. Obstacles. Levels feature various obstacles such as spike traps, collapsing platforms, and moving hazards that can hinder progress. False, and true. Moving hazards. Cars of World 4. Environmental hazards. Hazards like sandstorms, lava flows, and underwater currents can pose additional challenges. That would be a nutty level. Magma in the volcano. That's the name of a Game Ground world. And underwater currents. This isn't Echo the Dolphin, my friend. That's a different number on the Radica. It's like they're talking about Sonic the Hedgehog here. Character abilities. The main character in Game Ground possesses several unique abilities that can aid in overcoming obstacles and defeating enemies. These abilities... Okay, first off, the main character? You mean the 3 main characters? The 20 main characters? Am I the main character? Am I canon? Have I lost my survival instincts? Is my voice cracking because I haven't drank enough water? Water break. Range attacks. The characters can unleash powerful range attacks against enemies from a distance. Every character can do that except Stonehead. Special abilities. Special skills can be activated to gain temporary advantages such as increased speed or enhanced attacks. No. Unique movement. The character may possess unique movement abilities like teleportation, double jumping, or flight. We're just skipping the first jump. Now they can do it twice. And they can fly. They fly now? They fly now. Okay, welcome to Mario 64. You teleport up the bottom hill, double jump, and then triple jump for the wing cap. And that explains the shifting sands, I suppose. Character-specific skills. Each character in the team has their own distinct set of abilities, providing strategic options for different situations. That's the only true things you've said so far. With its engaging gameplay, diverse levels, challenging enemies, and unique character abilities, Gameground offers a retro Sega gaming experience that will captivate fans of classic games. Immerse yourself in this timeless adventure and test your skills in this beloved retro title. Slideshow, bottom of the page. I want to give it a 1.5 just because these sound like really cool ideas. Imagine an Atlantean-themed game ground world. That would be awesome. Yeah, alas, it won't happen. Overall, it kind of sucked at describing the gameplay, barely even described the worlds correctly. History. History. Is this going to discuss the history of all the versions of the game? Going to discuss the history of 2348? What's it going to be? Gameground, a retro Sega game, was developed by Sega AM1 and originally released in 1988. Okay, before we continue, Sega AM1 actually exists on Sega Retro. Amusement Machine Research and Development Department Number 1. Systemography 1991. Okay, the year 1988 isn't even here. So I don't think this is actually the people who made Gameground. Because if it was, founded 1992, that was absolutely after release of Genesis version. So this is completely factually incorrect. AM1 was not the developer of Gameground. The game was designed as an arcade experience, allowing players to quickly embark on a challenging adventure with strategic gameplay elements. Gameground quickly gained popularity due to its innovative mechanics and addictive gameplay, becoming a classic title in the Sega gaming library. Actually, not true. Gameground was very unpopular in Japan and less popular in America until critics, specifically there was one critic, I can't remember his name, pointed out the strategic depth of the game. And like all these magazines publish strategy guides and stuff in them about all the things you can do with Gameground. And that's when people realized the depth of the game and actually started liking it. So this is actually not very true. Only with the passage of time has it gained popularity, and the fact that it's been on like every port ever. You know, it's Gameground. You can find it anywhere. Interestingly, Gameground was one of the first games to introduce the concept of controlling multiple characters with different abilities. You control one of them at a time, but I know for a fact that Gauntlet exists, and Quartet. I don't know. Doesn't really sound that right. This unique feature added depth to the gameplay and required players to strategize and make tactical decisions in order to progress through levels. True. Slideshow. Developers and team members. Okay. Director. I'm not even going to bother pronouncing this because I will butcher it. Japanese businessman and former CEO of Nissan. Oh, there's a Sega Retro link. The word Gameground is nowhere on here. Designer Hiroshio Okay, he's got his own page too. Gain is not on here either. Okay, Moby Games, I guess. Nope. Programmers. I know this is incorrect because there's only one programmer. I think this one sounds familiar. Don't know if it's the correct one. Professional wrestler? Where the hell are you pulling these names from, my man? Hideki Sato. Okay, you're wrong. Artists. The word Game Ground is not found here either. Another artist. It's like retro. Look, I know for a fact there was like very little crediting with Game Ground, at least for the Genesis version. Because like S.C.K is just a guy who used the code name. Dolphin was a code name. T.Y. was T.Y. or T.J. I can't remember. One of those was a code name. It's not. They weren't really crediting themselves. The one guy who does credit himself, he's on Twitter and he barely posts, and he was like the programmer. Game Ground is not on this guy's page. And you. Oh, who's this? Kairetu Hayashi. Alas, worked on a few songs for Gain Ground. They got one of them correct. Well, while we're here, let's look at the rest of the production credits. References. Go to Steam. Production credits. All right. Mac Austin, Yangwat, Q-Chan, Dolphin. Special thanks to Arial. Who's Arial? It's Cheerio. Mega Drive, SCK. Yeah, as you can see here, all these are like, yeah, all these aren't really people that are on the website. In fact, just from this page, let's do the search one second time. Okay, he's on here. You're not on here. You're not on here. You're not on here. You're not on here. And I doubt you'll be on here. Yep. All right. So, yeah, Yoshi Uka. You programmed everything. This man is the only man I know. He's amazing. He has a Twitter. You're wrong, website. You didn't even mention the only like publicly known name. How could you do this to us? Connection to previous titles. Gameground is a standalone game that does not have direct connections to previous titles. I guess technically true. However, it shares some design elements and gameplay mechanics with other Sega games of the era, showcasing the company's commitment to innovation and creating unique gaming experiences. No, it doesn't. This game was all about being unique. It had nothing. Slideshow. Unique aspects of Gameground. Wow. No spacebar in the title this time. Alright, multiple characters with different abilities. Gameground introduced the concept of controlling a diverse roster of characters, each with their own unique abilities. This added depth to the gameplay and allowed for strategic decision making. Technically true. Strategic gameplay. Gameground emphasizes tactical gameplay, requiring players to carefully plan their moves and utilize their characters' abilities effectively to overcome challenges. True. Cooperative play. The game featured a cooperative multiplayer mode, allowing friends to team up and tackle the levels together, adding a social element to the game experience. True. Varied level design. Gameground offers a wide range of level designs, from forests and ruins to futuristic cities and ancient temples. Each level presented its own set of challenges and enemies, keeping the gameplay fresh and engaging. I suppose that's right. Time pressure. Gameground introduced a time limit for each level, adding an element of urgency and pushing players to make quick decisions and progress efficiently. I find when they talk about the good things about Gameground, they're correct, but when they talk about the settings of the characters, they're always wrong. What is with that? Gameground's combination of strategic gameplay, unique character control, and varied level design made it stand out in the retro Sega library. Its influence can still be felt today? No, hell no it can't, as the game continues to be enjoyed by retro gaming enthusiasts and serves as a testament to innovation and creativity on the Sega development team. True. No one's ever made a Gameground genre sequel, so I wouldn't say it has influence, but I would say it has lived. It has endured. The spirit of Sauron endured. Slideshow. End of page. I have to give this a half point for getting correct aspects, but you horrendously butchered the credits. What the hell is wrong with you? One of these guys was just a wrestler. This is why you don't trust AI, folks. Welcome to the playthrough page. Oh dear. Well, that functions. Apparently it thinks that there are 40 levels in the game. I'm concerned with some of these names. Does actually clicking these help? It does take you to them. And the names are marked. Alright. Gameground, the beloved retro Sega game, features a thrilling adventure spanning across 40 challenging levels in the arcade version. In this comprehensive level guide, we will take you through each stage, providing insight, strategies, and tips to help you conquer the game. Level 1, okay, I gotta do 40 of these? Oh man. Alright, level 1, the beginning. The opening level serves as an introduction to the game's mechanics. Players will navigate through a relatively straightforward layout, encountering basic enemy types. Focus on mastering character movement and understanding enemy behavior to build a solid foundation for levels continue. Good. Level 2, Forest Grove. In this level, players find themselves in a dense forest filled with towering trees and hidden dangers. Watch out for pitfalls, spikes, and a surprise enemy attacks from concealed locations. Use the environment to your advantage and move carefully to navigate through the forest safely. Okay, first off, no trees. Second off, there are pits, but not falling into pits. And there are hidden enemies, I will give them that much. Ruins of Antiquity. This is the hill on the left and the rocks on the right, mind you, with the exit rushers. Explore ancient ruins filled with crumbling structures and treacherous platforms. Beware of falling debris and collapsing platforms that can hinder your progress. New enemy types may require different strategies to defeat. Look for opportunities to use the environment to your advantage, such as collapsing platforms to eliminate enemies or create new paths. None of those features exist, and definitely not in the Master System version either. Level 4, Desert Sands. Level 4 takes you to the scorching... Okay, we're already in World 3, apparently. Sand dunes stretch as far as the eye can see. Watch out for sandstorms that can disorient you and limit your visibility. Plan your movements carefully to avoid getting caught in the shifting sands, defeating enemies strategically while traversing the treacherous terrain to progress further. What are you talking about? None of that's true. Level 5, Industrial Zone. Prepare to enter a mechanized industrial zone filled with complex machinery and hazards. Conveyor belts, crushers, and other deadly contraptions will test your reflexes and timing. Plan your movements carefully, utilizing the environment to your advantage. Look for opportunities to disable or evade machinery to progress while defeating mechanical enemies in your path. No. Yes to the conveyor belts. No to crushers. And you can't turn them off. And the enemies are not made of machines in the modern era. Why is my water not here anymore? Alright, okay, so this is just wrong. It's clearly confusing the concept of worlds and levels. We've discussed these worlds before. So it doesn't think these are the worlds of the game, it thinks these are the levels of the game, which is really weird. What could it be pulling from that it's getting this information? It just doesn't make sense.
Level 6, Underwater Abyss. Dive into the depths of an underwater abyss where the challenges are as deep as the ocean itself. Navigate through underwater currents, avoiding obstacles and hostile aquatic creatures. Timing is crucial in this level as you need to coordinate your movements to swim against strong currents and defeat enemies in this unique underwater environment. It certainly is unique. It's not Echo the Dolphin. Level 7, Haunted Castle. Prepare to explore a haunted castle filled with ghostly apparitions and supernatural phenomena. Watch out for traps and surprise enemy attacks from spectral foes. Seek out hidden passages and secret rooms to discover valuable power-ups and additional characters. Use your wits to navigate through eerie corridors and defeat ethereal enemies to stand in your way. Cool concept. Doesn't exist. Level 8, Future City. Step into a futuristic metropolis teeming with advanced technology and bustling crowds. High-tech security systems, drones, and futuristic enemies pose formidable challenges. Utilize your character's unique abilities to overcome obstacles and defeat enemies efficiently. Look for opportunities to hack into security systems to gain an advantage and progress through the futuristic cityscape. You can't hack in this game. Also, everything tells you to use your character abilities. That's all that's the only tips. Sky Fortress. Okay. Ascend to new heights as you infiltrate a flying fortress suspended in the clouds. Floating platforms, deadly aerial enemies, that's me, and challenging jumps await you. Precise movement and quick reflexes are essential to navigate through this airborne level. Watch out for enemy projectiles and utilize your character's abilities to take down foes while progressing through the fortress. Oh gee, I wonder if there's a level where I'm not going to utilize my character's abilities. Lava Caverns. Descend into the depths of a fiery underworld as you explore the lava caverns. Traverse treacherous lava-filled platforms. The platforms are filled with lava? I guess. Magma inside a rock? Maybe? That's weird. Avoiding deadly eruptions and molten hazards. Timing and precise platforming skills are crucial in this level. Utilize your character's abilities to overcome obstacles and enemies will penetrate through this challenging hazard environment. Not real. Ancient Temple. Prepare to explore an ancient temple filled with mystical artifacts and dangers. I'm prepared. Okay, watch out for traps and ancient guardians to protect the sacred grounds. Utilize your character's abilities to overcome obstacles and defeat enemies while uncovering the secrets within this enigmatic temple. Should I even say that it's not real? I mean, I guess it could be the end of World 1 of Getting Gone Again with a griffin statue, but no. Snowy Peaks. This would be good. Ascend to icy mountain peaks where freezing winds and slippery slopes pose a challenge. Traverse through treacherous terrain, avoiding avalanches and icy hazards. Plan your movements carefully and utilize your character's ability to prehistoric jungle. That would be a nice time period. We got primitive era, now we're going to have Mesozoic era. Step into a lush prehistoric jungle, teeming with ancient creatures and dense foliage. Watch out for carnivorous plants, roaming dinosaurs, and other prehistoric hazards. Explore hidden pathways and secret areas to find valuable power-ups and characters. Use your skills and wit to survive in this primeval landscape. It sounds like a beautiful level design concept. You even get to kill the plant from Little Shop of Horrors. But it's not real. Closest you're going to get to this is playing Echo the Dolphin, talk to the asteroid, he'll send you to Atlantis. He'll send you back in time, you can sing to the sky, call the pterodon. Level 14, Space Station. Embark on an extraterrestrial adventure to infiltrate a space station orbiting the planet. Overcome zero-gravity environments, laser barriers, and alien enemies. Utilize your character's abilities to navigate through this high-tech facility while neutralizing the extraterrestrial threats standing in your way. No. Crystal Caves! Ooh. Are you certain these aren't just all points from side puzzles? I mean, we had a desert, we've had Ice Cap Zone, we've had a space station in front of the Death End. Now we're in a Mystic Cave Zone, maybe even a Hidden Palace Zone. Descend into a dazzling underground cavern adorned with shimmering crystals. Beware of falling stalactites, crystal traps, and crystalline enemies. Precision and quick reflexes are crucial in this level as you navigate through the crystalline caves while fending off crystal-based adversaries. Interesting. Volcano Summit. Conquer the fiery challenges of the volcano summit where molten lava flows and erupting geysers pose a constant threat. Timing is essential as you between platforms avoiding scorching hazards. Utilize your character's abilities to overcome intensity and defeating enemies in this volcanic planet.
Skyguard, I'm not even acknowledging that these don't exist anymore. It's just factually wrong. This page has to get negative points, but it has to. Well, but I gave it points earlier for being really creative and awesome. I guess I'm gonna give it 1% of a point.
Skyguards. Explore the serene beauty of floating gardens suspended in the sky. Traverse platforms adorned with fabric floor while awaiting terrorist traps and aerial enemies. That's me. Plan your movements carefully and utilize your character's abilities to progress through this ethereal and tranquil level. Level 18, Cybernetic Core. Sounds like a Yu-Gi-Oh pack. Journey to the heart of a massive cybernetic core where advanced technology and hostile machinery emerge. Navigating through the ancient circuitry and evading deadly lasers will test your agility and timing. Seek to complete the systems and defeat the adversaries to reach the course's center. Subterranean ruins. Descend into ancient subterranean ruins filled with crumbling structures and hidden treasures. Watch out for collapsing platforms, bypassing ancient guardians to protect the relics within. Explore the core regions and also uncover power-ups and characters. We already had ancient temple. Level 20, Space. The final frontier. Prepare for the ultimate challenge as you venture into the final frontier, a cosmic expanse filled with ancient stellar threats.
Haunted mansion. Wait. Wait. Haunted castle. Ah, I see. Now it's a mansion. Da 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 da. I am out of water. I'll survive. And finally, the final showdown. The final level is the culmination of your epic journey through Game Ground. Prepare for the ultimate challenge as you face off against the most powerful bosses and encounter the toughest obstacles yet. Utilize everything you've learned, including strategic character selection, precise timing, and expert maneuvering, to defeat the final foes and emerge as the ultimate victor. With this complete level guide, you're equipped with the knowledge and strategies to conquer every stage in Game Ground. Each level presents its own unique challenges, requiring careful planning, precise execution, and strategic character selection. Embark on this retro gaming journey and experience the thrill of overcoming each level until you reach the ultimate climax of Game Ground. It was so long. None of that was true. None of that was real. You just pitched a new game. What? I love this game. You've pitched a different one. Go away. Okay, that was the playthrough. Review. This got table of contents as well. Thank goodness it's shorter. Game Ground, a Sega retro game, has garnered attention from various renowned gaming publications and critics. Here are some reviews and opinions from influential voices in the gaming industry. Forgot a period. Slideshow. Game Ground, GameSpot review retro Sega game. Game Ground, a beloved retro Sega game, has received acclaim from various gaming publications, including GameSpot. Here is an excerpt from GameSpot's review of Game Ground. Let's see here. Is this true? No, this is not a quote from GameSpot. I'm not even going to read it because then I'd just be putting words in their mouth, and it's an excuse to not talk. But let me just read it quick. blend of extras, each with their own abilities and cooperative multiplayer. Okay, so that's not true. You didn't say that. This excerpt from GameSpot's review highlights the enduring appeal and positive reception that GameGround has garnered amongst gamers. Immerse yourself in this retro Sega game and discover why it continues to captivate players to this day. Also, slideshow. IGN. Nope. It appears you have lied once more, my friend. Unless there's another IGN review somewhere. Nope. That's nope. Nope. False once again. False entirely. Slideshow. This excerpt from IGN's review showcases the positive. Okay, that's the same sentence as before. Retro Gamer Review, Retro Sega Game. What? Who is that? That's just anyone. I'm not going to read this because it could be. No. Same sentence. Eurogamer. Okay, that's a lot of pictures. Okay. Testament. That's a word that we can find. Nope, the word testament is nowhere in this article. So this is also entirely false. It's entirely, I guess, well, no, it's not libel. It's false witness. You're bearing false witness to your neighbor. These reviews are not the actual text. You did not borrow them from anything. Slideshow. And is that copy paste? Game Informer. That's the site we're on. They never reviewed it. So that means that this is blatantly false. Slideshow. Bottom of the page. Negative points. I mean, everything you say in this article is probably true about GameGround. It's probably a great game. But, like, negative points. None of these are real quotes. None of these are actual, like, star ratings or anything. You're just putting words on the page and claiming that someone else said them when they did not say these things. You are villainous Satan. Video. Okay, I know this guy. I know this one. I know this one. I know this one, I think. Yep, I know that one. Welcome to the GameGround videos page, where you can delve into captivating world of this iconic retro Sega game. Sit back, relax, and enjoy a collection of videos that showcase the gameplay, highlights, and fascinating aspects of GameGround. Watch gameplay demos to get a taste of what GameGround has to offer. Experience the thrill of navigating through challenging levels, defeating enemies, and discovering the strategic elements that make GameGround a timeless classic. These videos provide a first-hand look at the game's mechanics and give you a sense of gameplay flow. Need a little guidance on your GameGround adventure? Explore our collection of walkthrough and tip videos. Follow along as experienced players showcase their strategies, share helpful tips, and guide you through tricky sections of the game. These videos are a valuable resource for both new and seasoned players seeking to improve their skills and overcome challenges. Immerse yourself in the history and legacy of GameGround with retrospectives and reviews. Join gaming enthusiasts as they delve into the game's development, discuss its impact on the industry, and share their professional experiences. And gain a deeper experience for the cultural significance. Gain ground. You own none of these videos, and none of these videos actually showcase what you're describing on this page. In fact, the game you've been describing over the course of this entire website is an entirely different game to the one on your website and in these videos. You are unknowledgeable. You are inexcusably wrong. All you had to do for a website titled Play Gain Ground Online was this. You didn't need anything more or anything less than a functioning emulator, and you couldn't even get that right. The things you say are banal and bland. They're repeats of parroted words that everyone would ever say about the game. You state facts, and not even the facts are real. You state opinions, and you're not even describing the game you're talking about. It is therefore my request that whoever the shaster owns this website, please sell it to someone who will do it justice. If you love Gain Ground, don't rely on AI slop. Make your own art. Make your own website. It's hard. It's Gain Ground. I should know. But you can just write anything. Write what you love about the game, not what the machine loves about the game. You want help? I'll pitch in my words. I like writing. I'm good at writing. I made the TV shows page for Gain Ground. I'll make this one too. Sell it to one of the fans and maybe we can get a collaborative effort going, you know? It'd be nice to have a Gain Ground website, you know? An entire wiki dedicated to the history and art and sprites. Somewhere established that we can gather. But this domain has been taken. I have no interest in purchasing domains, but if someone else wanted to do it, I would gladly pitch in work for them. Because I love this game, and there's so much I can do for it. In fact, here, let me show you something quick. All right. After what presumably one of the few jump cuts in the video, welcome to my Gain Ground information overhaul document. I started this several years ago, just about before I did my No Man Left Behind video, in order to track everything in the game, specifically the Genesis version, because I needed the information. Now, this is not complete, as evidenced by some to-do check marks in here. But it's got every level, it's got every character, every enemy, every variant of every enemy. I can go to any of these. Let me pick one. Let me pick one that's in multiple levels. Let's just go to the Nightman. See, this one's incomplete a little, but you can see the spirit. Tips, genuine writing, numbers. It takes time. It takes effort. I'm not going to say that you can just do it because you're perfect, but you can make something for yourself. Something that you can be proud of. It doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to show that you're not alone. Maybe this whole review is kind of pointless. Maybe I'm just complaining about a website I found. It got me a good laugh. Maybe I'm just too tired. Maybe that's why I'm taking it seriously, all right? I mean, AI is just kind of a thing. I'm only assuming this was generated by AI based off of how ridiculously incorrect the information is. Consider this a public service announcement. Don't trust this website. If it ever updates in the future, I'll let you guys know. But I don't own this domain. I have no clue who does. Don't go harassing anyone. And please, I beg of you, if you love Gain Ground, make things. Keep making things. Make anything you want. But you can do better than this. I believe that you can do better than this. Anything you do will be better than this. That's what Gain Ground is about. It's about overcoming our human limitations. It's about working together to make something stronger than the sum of the parts. Damn, that got depressing. Well, April Fools. Have a good day, everyone. Sorry that I've been a bit behind on content. My big project is sort of just kind of a thing that consumes time. However, I can say that I have finally recorded footage for it. It's on my drive, it's on my D drive, and it's ready to go. I just gotta shove it together, make it. But it is not fully complete yet. Even the recording of footage and the arrangement of those videos will not be enough for the project to be finished. I am sorry this is taking time. Trust me when I tell you, it's gonna be fun, interesting, different, exciting, better than this website, because I do not use AI for my creative projects. I want to make my things. I don't know. Do what you want. I can't stop you. Thanks for watching. Have a good night.